Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News with Kim and Lisa. Well, guys, we're here. We finally made it. Part 3 of the Vanderpump Rules reunion aired last night, and it brought a lot of emotions to the surface. So to break it all down with us, we wanted to bring on a special guest. You know her, you love her. Friend of the pod, Bravo Squire, if I may say so. And third member of Kathy's Girls, our friend Sophia. Welcome, Sophia.
Thank you kindly. It is an honor yet again to be here.
In case you guys missed it, Sophia did join us to recap Kathy Hilton's Christmas party. Yes, we all three went to Kathy Hilton's house, which forever bonded us. But she also has a lot of hot takes about Vanderpump Rules. So I thought, why not have her back so you can mention them all?
There's endless opinions. I will edit myself down. Not really, just kidding. I'm here.
All right, let's get into it. I can't wait to hear what you have to say because we haven't talked about this yet. But basically, we picked the reunion back up with the James and Tom Sandoval. They kind of re-air what they said last week. James is galloping far in the distance and, eat a dick, eat a dick. So, and then we don't really hear from James again until like the very end of the reunion. So that was kind of his like one moment in part 3. But basically, it starts with, we kind of get into it with Ariana being asked, can she ever really have a conversation with Tom? Can she be in the same room with him now? And she says, at this moment, no, like she's not there yet. And they kind of addressed like, well, when do you think that the right time is? And she said, look, when we filmed this, it was still only 4 months after my life blew up. And so I felt like I needed to feel my feelings, and she felt like some of the friends in her group were kind of pushing her to be further along than she actually was. And I got that. I think that, everyone was kind of like, oh, go film with him. Let's do this together. We're all going to be at the pool party at James's house together. We're going to be at the beach together. She was not ready for that. And everyone was kind of on her about it. So where do you guys stand with this?
So the way I see it is that Ariana, one, obviously, what she thought was endgame has just been destroyed in an atomic bomb of a fashion. What I am seeing as a viewer, I'm not a psychologist by any means, but I see her as not wanting to be emotional in a uncontrolled way when she doesn't have the control of the edit. It's like she's keeping a lid on her emotion. She doesn't know how she could react. She doesn't know if she will burst into tears. And I don't think that she wants to give anybody on the cast that pleasure. And I also don't think that she wants to engage in any kind of conversation like on social or, Amazon Live or whatever it is. Not she has an Amazon Live show, but that's what I am seeing, that she is trying to temper her entire being because she does not know how it will be displayed and used against her. Also, all the legal things that are going on with her and Tom. She probably has lawyers telling her that she has to be very measured and she's not going to do anything to disrupt what might happen. And I know that that's kind of a boring answer because it seems so like we all have to deal with the realities of life. But I do think that she's protecting herself.
Well, and I agree with you, Sophia, but I also think gosh, does she really have to remind people again? I feel like every episode, the audience needs a reminder that this is filmed 3 months later. I mean, we saw she does confront it later on in the reunion saying, look, if I'm still acting like this a year later, feel free to call me out. But this is fresh. This is 3 months. And the fact that she still has to remind everybody that this is still fresh, she hasn't moved on yet, I think is absolutely ridiculous. Just put it in your head that we are filming 4 months after she found out her best friend was cheating with her boyfriend of 10 years. So let's give her a goddamn break.
Also, who decides with the timeline here?
Right.
Just please, if she needs to take 2 years, she needs to take 2 years. Whatever.
Totally.
Well, and then I loved, because it's so Lala, right? The way that Lala manages to get into the Jax and the cheating, and I heard this, but Katie heard this, and we're in the comment section. But then it was brought up of how Brittany ruined her gender reveal because Brittany texted Lala's mom about the babysitter versus nanny and I don't have kids, whatever. I get it. There are two differences to those words, but I can't see this as anything else but Lala making a very unveiled transition into having beef with Jax to get on the Valley. I think that that's at this point like a universal take. So I don't think that I'm saying anything out of pocket. But yeah, Lala just needs to sit down, girl, please.
No, I think that is spot on. And when I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, why is this like, who cares? But you're absolutely right. We know that Lala is in her producer era and she is really trying to save her ass, by having a show. She thinks Vanderpump Rules is probably dead as we know it. And so she is gunning hard for a spot on the Valley. And I think that she was taking this little thing and really, reaching and making it into some sort of conflict so that maybe she will be asked onto the Valley.
Totally. I mean, we think that Scheana makes everything about her. It kind of seems like Lala during this reunion is literally making every single thing about her. She will call attention to every single thing and tie it back to how it relates to her. But speaking of that, we get a segment. Of course, we need Scheana and Ariana to kind of talk through what went down this season. And we have to be reminded again, Ariana hasn't watched. She has just watched clips. And while she says her feelings were hurt by Scheana, Sheena's like, well, you didn't see the full context. You just saw clips. Sweetie, I don't think watching the entire show is going to make that better. I think, in fact, it's going to make it worse when she gets more context. So
that's correct.
I don't know. I think that Scheana, she says, I just felt left out. I don't want Ariana to leave me behind. Like, nobody thinks that, Scheana. Nobody agrees with you. Everybody knows that it is pure jealousy, and you're just trying to sit there and play the victim on this reunion stage and cry to Ariana. I just don't like Ariana has such a soft spot for Scheana that I'm not sure Scheana deserves. I'm not sure Scheana deserves the softness that, I don't know, they're bringing it. Am I wrong? Do you guys agree?
No, I totally agree. I think that Ariana keeps saying Scheana is family. You're never not going to be family. And like, that's a really big statement. And then to see, those final minutes and like to see what else Sheena's been saying, it's hard to kind of watch that and hear Ariana make that statement that feels genuine. It genuinely feels like she views Scheana as family. And so
100%. I mean, even after, like, you don't need to sit and watch this season because Ariana was there when Scheana would say outlandish things, FaceTiming her from Tahoe, crying about how she feels sorry for this man that upended your life. Like, girl, like, Sheena's never read a room. She will never read a room. And Ariana still has such grace with you. Just no. Scheana has battled so many of the women on this cast. Ariana came in and has been in her corner the entire time. And here we are.
Yeah. And I felt like when Andy asked Brock about him saying Tom's been a better friend to Scheana than Ariana has. And I felt like Scheana was kind of translating Brock's words when he was like, well, I've just seen that, that's what I've seen. And then he also said, like, when Ariana was going off on Tom at James's pool party, he says, like, that was really hard to watch. And Sheena's like, because we don't like seeing her in that much pain. Right, Brock? Right, Brock? Like, don't go into the, female rage. Like, she's so... like she was raging at Tom and everything. It's like, no, it's because she was feeling so hurt and that was hard to see. So I think Scheana was trying to do some damage control there.
It's almost like, I don't know, I can't remember what the saying is, but like when you like kind of choose both sides, you choose no side. Like Scheana she's not like, she's like wants to be friends with Tom and like back him up, but she's still trying to be like good with Ariana. Like, I'm sorry, that just means you have no backbone. You're just kind of like swaying with the wind, wherever the wind takes you. Whoever's going to talk to you that day, you're going to be on their side. It's like, where's the loyalty? Where is I don't know. It just seems like, Scheana, I don't know. She's not playing this well at all.
No, she's like the wind. It's not great. And also, like, Brock is a kept man, and like I love that Scheana is a powerful woman that can make things happen for her household, but Brock knows exactly where he stands in that relationship, and it's one of the few Bravo relationships where I'm like, you know what, you two do work out, because he will acquiesce to anything that Scheana sets forth. I don't doubt that she sits there a la Kyle Cook writing 17-page outlines for the season and what they need to do. And Brock says, yes, because you are where my bread is buttered. So Brock's going to do what Scheana tells him, and it works for them. And to that, I say, God bless.
God bless. Okay, so I know there was a lot more in the episode, but I really want to get to, like, let's fast forward and let's watch these last few minutes, and let's watch the cast watching these last few minutes of the finale, because this is where it really starts to get interesting. So Andy says, okay, you guys have seen the episode, the finale, but we purposely didn't send you the last couple minutes because we wanted you to watch it live together and get your real-time reactions. And everyone's looking at each other like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening? This has never happened before at a reunion. So roll tape, start split screen, and we start hearing, you know, it opens with Scheana telling Tom, don't go after Ariana. You know, she's done. She's not going to talk to you. We see Ariana talking to the producer, and simultaneously we're seeing Ariana's face, right? And so then it gets to Tom going off and saying, Laliana, Ariana talks shit about all you guys. Like, she doesn't fuck with you and blah, blah, blah. And Ariana's starting to see, what? Like, what is he talking about? And then everyone kind of gets like quiet. I can feel the energy through the screen when it gets to Lala's breaking the fourth wall. And we see like Scheana's face, we see Lala's face, and I'm like, oh, they must be so uncomfortable right now because they know what's coming and they're going to have to sit there and answer to it in about 30 seconds. And it's, you know, we see Lala go off, say she thinks she's Beyonce, she thinks she's God. Why does she get to dictate how this goes down? God, that was hard to watch Ariana see that, because you could tell that she had no idea that they felt this way. And that's a hard thing to register, let alone live in front of, you know, cameras. And then we see the flashbacks and everyone kind of starts tearing up at like season 1, season 2. And we're seeing all of that go down, like the history of the show. And we finally see like the last line where Tom Sandoval says, you know, I loved it. It was good for me. And Ariana must have felt vindicated in that moment, because she, like she said later on, that proved me exactly right. Everything that you were trying to do was to make yourself look better. It wasn't because you're truly sorry. It wasn't because you know that you wronged me. It's because you know that you're going to come out looking better than I am. And that's all you care about. And so, oh God, and then it just led into them speaking really for the first time in the whole season. And so I want to get into this, but I feel like I've been talking for a long time. So Kim, what did you think about that conversation that finally happened between Tom and Ariana?
Well, first of all, I mean, as if I wasn't emotional watching this, you know, flashback for the first time, but watching it again, oh my God, I broke down. And I think a lot of them were crying because, you know, they've been through a lot on the show. But then we see Ariana tearing up, and she's tearing up for a completely different reason than everybody else. She's not looking back at this like very, you know, positively, like, oh, what a great run. You know what I mean? Like, she's like been like, oh, this bitch sitting next to me just like, you know, totally slammed everything that I'm about and everything that I did this entire season.
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, I don't know, I guess Ariana was on Katie's podcast today that came out, Disrespectfully. I have not listened, but I did see. And, you know, they basically say this package was kind of only meant to hurt Ariana. It didn't do anybody else any favors. It's almost like production was targeting Ariana and being like, look what these people said about you. How do you feel about this now? And it was almost like, I don't know. I don't know if that was the right way to go about it, even though I loved seeing the authentic reactions. But it did lead to the conversation with her and Tom, which I think was needed and very necessary. What did you think about this, Sophia?
I agree. I agree with you. I think it was necessary, and I think it's what Lala and Scheana have been doing with the producers by their side. They were trying to have this conversation happen all season. And then they had this moment and they said, let's bring this up because this will force them. And I think that is why they added the Tom line, because it's been very, very redemption arc all season. And then to add that was almost like see Ariana like an opening for her to feel vindicated, but also to speak up. So it's like, we give you a little carrot and now you're going to take a bite. I think it is, that's what producers do. And I have to say, I 1000% believe when Lala says that everybody was talking shit, that everybody was jealous of this and like, oh, and Ariana and Tom never were truthful about it. I believe it 100%. Unfortunately, Lala was self-righteous and a little bit of a dum-dum to think that was going to work for her. I think I don't want to watch a show that is sanitized. I don't want to watch a show where everyone's being politically correct. Like, we have enough of that in our real lives. Like, cool. I want to watch complicated people with broken moral compasses parading about in a delusional fashion. If you want wholesome, go watch Love on the Spectrum. That's, great. But I do think that Lala just completely miscalculated this move. She took a gamble. She thought that the audience was going to be on her side the entire season. The way she said that we're going to think differently once we watch it. And she forgot who she was on the show. You are a villain on the show. And that's cool. We need villains on these shows. You just got a little too earnest.
Yeah. And okay, but I want to ask you guys about Tom's apology. Because when I'm watching this, to me, it felt like this was maybe the first time where he was saying some things that actually felt genuine. But it's always so hard because I don't know. I want to like believe what people are saying. But the fact that he said, I did the one thing that I said I would never do. To me, that felt like maybe he's starting to realize it. But obviously it's too little too late. Like, I'm not, expecting her to be like, oh, it's fine. Like, I've moved on. But I do think that, and again, it's like, okay, well, he got his moment. He got his stage to put on this apology, and he had time to think about it. But I also do think like he needed to take that. Like, he needed to take that moment and do the right thing, even if it falls on deaf ears. But what did you guys think of that?
No, I agree 100%. Maybe I'm naive, but to be honest, this seemed genuine to me. I think that as much as Ariana didn't want to hear it, didn't need to hear it, didn't care to hear it, I think that this is the closure that they both needed and that we both needed. We needed Tom to take accountability. The whole season we've been like, he's not taking accountability. Ariana was saying the same thing. So I think that this is what we needed as viewers. I think that, it's always, didn't Tom say hindsight's 20/20 in that one TMZ interview? And it is hindsight's 20/20. I think they're so far away from it now that he can look back and be like, what the fuck? I really fucked up, and really see how, the kind of domino effect that it had. So I don't know. I thought that this was genuine, although I do think that, like Ariana said, he was just trying to have that camera time. He was trying to have that, moment to try to, make him look better. And it didn't. I don't think that this made him look better. I just simply think that it was essential, and it was closure for everybody, including us.
Yeah. What about when he said,
I don't believe
I don't know. You don't believe it. Okay. Yeah. Those tears, I did not believe. And all I could think of was that like parody, like meme or whatever, when he's doing that crying face. That's all I could see. But and he's saying, Ariana, you know me, you know that this is not acting. And she's like, I don't know you. I thought that I used to know you, but I don't anymore. And that's gotta hurt.
Oh, and he deserves a fireball the size of the planet Earth, just as far as she's concerned, right? There's nothing about him has ever read to me as being authentic. He knows exactly when the camera's on. He knows exactly how to say things. He has a team. He has producers. Like they have all told him. Even Lisa Vanderpump probably sat him down and was like, it's going to be better for you and easier for you if you just take accountability. Just say the one line. It's not going to hurt you. And I think that's why he did it, because this whole season has been leading up or has been built around them having a conversation. And he knew what he needed to do, because after all of these months of filming, he's like, okay, yeah, so sure, I'll do that. And I don't believe it for a second. He can cry me a river, build a bridge, girl, on the other side.
Okay, so now what about what Lala said? And Ariana gets asked, all right, so that's kind of the Tom of it all. What about Lala? And she simply says, she's emotional, and she says, like, that really hurt my feelings. And I feel like that is probably the saddest things when you hear someone say, like, it just really hurt my feelings. Like, I don't know, it's not I'm mad, it's not I'm disappointed, it's like you just hurt me. And Lala doesn't
see it in her eyes too. I think that's what was the most emotional part. It's like she wasn't just delivering a line, her entire face looked like broken, because this was also the woman who turned to Ariana in the first episode of the reunion, was like, us two, we're in this together. And then you're walking into this, like, no, Ariana really thought that she had her girls around her. And then, this person is somehow believing that this isn't an ensemble cast. Suddenly everything rests on Ariana. It's like, no, just can.
Yeah, I don't understand why Lala's future is dictated by how Ariana acts on this show. Like,
right.
Be fucking real, Lala. I think the whole thing is that if you're relying on Ariana to control your paycheck, then maybe you're not doing fucking enough. I think you need to find something to, maybe further your own storyline rather than relying on someone who is living their authentic life. I mean, when Ariana said, I said this before, when I walked away, that was me being authentic. That's 100% true. And, Lala's like, we got to be real. We got to be authentic. I never got to dictate my storyline. Girl, you lied to us for seasons about what was going on in your life. I just don't understand how she thinks she has any leg to stand on. It is absolutely ridiculous, beyond hypocritical. And I just don't know where she thinks she's now a producer of this show and she has control over how every cast member thinks, acts, feels, does, every single thing. I don't understand. It's honestly lost on me how Lala thinks she has the nerve to do this. It's disgusting.
And let us not forget that when she first started dating Randall, she would not mention his name on camera. Everyone was forbidden to talk about him, to, refer to him. It was my man and my man. And like, oh, he has a career and he doesn't need this show, so I don't want to bring him up. Lala, that is you dictating how things are going down. So I don't understand why you think that you didn't ever have any say. Like, I think, did she just forget all of that? Because it was annoying as fuck when it was happening. And then for her to, say, oh, well, when the stuff with Randall went down, no one really rallied around her. They all kind of, she said, Lisa said, oh, you get them how you lose them. And it's like, well, Lala, that's because no one was surprised when that happened. The only person who was surprised was you that Randall was that type of person. On the other hand, with Ariana and Tom, like, everyone was shocked. No one saw that coming. So it is different and people are going to react differently. But that doesn't mean that, Ariana gets to is like the end all be all and gets to say how things are going down. Like, that's just not accurate. And it's also not accurate that she never had a say.
Plus one on that, 100%. I mean, again, I think that cosign girl, because I really think that her hubris took over any kind of rational thought. And I do think that her level of delusion is not the delusion that I like on Bravo shows. It's one that centers herself in a way that doesn't really make any sense. Like, she's living in a reality separate from ours. And I also think that she has not been able to separate her reality and the show. Because at the end of the day, you are on a show and there's different reality stars. We all see them, right? The ones that like are just, well, this is my life. I'm going to do what I do. This is what's happening in this season of my life. Others that will hold on to things, be like, well, 4 months ago you said this and blah, 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 blah. So there are those. And then there are others that are just terrible and we don't want to see them. So she has to understand that it isn't 2010 and we just started the Housewives of OC. Like, you have to evolve with the evolution of Bravo as well. And like, that's just where we're at. And again, she miscalculated. She thought she was firing at the bullseye, and baby, it is just in Mars.
Yeah. No, she definitely missed.
She is so far off that bullseye. I mean, and then she's trying to like, talk about how Tom and Ariana have always lied about their relationship and pulling Katie back into it. It's like, no, just stop. Just stop what you're trying to do. Stop trying to manipulate the storyline. It's not working. It hasn't worked since I'm sure they're on like hour 8 or 9 of like filming this reunion by now. And it's like, she's trying to make, one last ditch effort to kind of, get that home run. Girl, it's not working. Just stop.
Just sit down. Take a seat.
Sit down. Yeah. Like, because like obviously Ariana and Katie have had conversations like normal adults. So perhaps try that. And it reminds me of when, something wasn't real to her because her and Ariana didn't like spoke about it on camera, but it never aired. It's like, sweetie, please, like, just, that's not real life.
No. I did appreciate that Lisa seemed to back Ariana for once and saying that, sometimes it's okay to walk away. Like, she walked away from Beverly Hills because she did not want to reconcile with those women. And she says sometimes it's okay to do that. So thankfully, LVP, it took you a long time, but you finally supported the women on this one. So, but, we'll take that.
Absolutely. I did think she was going to do a backhanded thing of like, if you want to walk away, then don't be on the show. In that vein, I thought that's where she was going, but it was nice. And I will say, I think in the past couple of seasons, we've been clouded by just how she is so kind and gives so much grace to the Peter Pans on the show. But she has supported a lot of the women. Like, she supported Katie through all of Schwartz's nonsense, asking her many a time, do you really want to marry this man, even before they were engaged. She only really ever hated Kristen. So it's nice to get back to a place where we are highlighting her supporting women.
Agreed. So we do get some final thoughts, but before we get probably my favorite moment of the entire reunion was when Ariana's earring gets stuck on Katie's dress. And it was just, it made everybody laugh in a very, very, very dark moment. Yeah. And I just feel like that was like completely necessary for where we were at. Don't you guys?
Oh, yeah. That was the universe saying, all right, we're just going to lighten this up a little bit because this is getting real dark and real heavy.
No. Yeah. So then we get, Andy, of course, we have the final thoughts going around. Ariana's in a weird place with people. Tom is so appreciative for getting that second chance, even though, did he really get one? I'm not sure. And Lala, of course, we have doubling down. She's not apologizing for anything. And I don't know, what did you guys think of, like, we got some things with Lala and Scheana at the end of this episode that was almost equivalent to what we got from Sandoval at the end of the finale, like kind of some hot mics and some real moments that showed kind of how they really feel.
It felt like a hot mic moment, yet the camera was in their faces. So they obviously knew that they were being filmed still, But they were saying things as if they didn't realize they were being filmed. You know, Lala says, whatever, I barely see Ariana, and Katie, I don't give a fuck, like, whatever. And so she's basically doubling down and saying, like, yeah, I know these friendships are fucked and I don't really care. I just want to go live my happy life. And it's like, all right, Lala, like, now you've really dug your hole. Like, if you didn't think it was deep enough, now it's down. You're 6 feet. You're 6 feet down.
No, yeah, she's dripping in self-righteousness, and it's no longer fun. Having Tom Sandoval end the reunion by lifting you up in gratitude is not it. Not it.
And not something to aspire to.
I ride for you. Fucking respect, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, who wants that? Like, who wants Sandoval riding for them?
Please don't. Please don't ride.
Please
for
don't.
me.
Oh my God, that was tough. That was tough. So I don't know. But okay, we're done with the reunion. Did we get an evisceration? Like, you know, like
No.
was teased. You know, there was really no evisceration to be had. Ariana really did not eviscerate Lala.
But I honestly, can I say, I think that the way Ariana handled it is actually worse than yelling and screaming. Like, to just sit there quietly and like have genuine tears and just be like, that really hurt me, I think is so much more powerful than to say like, you're such a fucking bitch. And like, that's what Lala wanted. That's what
Exactly.
she thrives off of. And Ariana was not going to give it to her. And I fucking loved it.
Right. And I think that's what Ariana the whole season was like. I am not going to give Tom that. I'm not going to give Lala that. Although, I mean, she didn't actually go through the season thinking that Lala was a monster behind her back. But I do think that is very much what Ariana's MO was. And I completely agree. It's
So where do we go from here, guys? I mean, do we see Ariana coming back? Do we see a future for Vanderpump Rules? Just want to get your quick thoughts before we let you go, Sophia.
I would love if Ariana came back, because I don't know what Katie might do without her. I would like to see their business and all of the exciting things that they have, because I think that the show is the strongest when people have things outside of the show. James with his career, Ariana and Katie with their sandwich shop. There has to be something else that we are talking about instead of the talking in circles about what's happened here on social media, etc., and then reacting to it 4 months later. Yeah, I do think that we're at a crossroads, and I'm really happy that they're taking a break. I know that Bravo's kind of in this phase of their lives where we do need to take breaks. It's been 15 years of wonderment across the programming, so I'm excited to take a beat and then get fresh storylines and hopefully maybe see one new addition to maybe shake things up.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm hopeful, but realistically, it to me felt very final. The way that they ended the finale with those flashbacks, and then yesterday Bravo posted like season 1 Katie, season 11 Katie, season 2 Ariana, season 11 Ariana. It felt very series finale to me. So that's what I'm preparing myself for, and I guess I will be happily surprised if it does come back again. If I were Ariana, I don't think I would come back. Like, why does she doesn't need it anymore?
I mean, the show is definitely coming back. Will it look the same? 100% no. It is not going to look the same. I don't think we're going to get Ariana, but I don't know. I agree with you, Sophia. I think a break is definitely needed. I think we need some fresh blood. I think we need some fresh storylines that don't feel produced. So we will see what shakes out. I don't know. I'm super excited. You know, I think we're going to hear more, you know, as the summer progresses between, you know, the cast members and what's going on in their real lives before they start filming. So yeah, we'll just have to catch it all. Make sure you guys are following Bravo Breaking News on Instagram and Lisa Not Rinna. And thank you so much, Sophia, for joining us on this epic finale day.
Thank you. The honor is all mine.
Okay, come back anytime, and thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye.